conversation. Okay. Okay. So, and we are all good friends, and now most of us know each other very well. So I wanted to tell you something regarding about how to ask a question. This is quite important. Some like person like me sometimes ask a question without much doing homework, and then automatically I will be will catch by my teacher, and then my teacher will ask a question back to me, and then I stop there. So it is very necessary that but most of the questions does not need to be like that, but when it is the question, when it is serious question, then it's like a very kind of heated interview. Like people ask a question, and then relating to that question, they will go deeper and deeper and deeper. Then answer will go much more sharper and sharper. And from there, the student can see the skills and the knowledge of his teacher. That's why debate skills are important. And then also, not only debate skills, but about how to be a good so we need to know, we need to educate it out. And now it looks like here most people internet froze. It's coming. Okay, it's over. Okay, so now please question. Anybody online, or it's not called offline, what is called in person? Okay. The online questions you can write in the chat. There's one question already here. Yeah, the counselor, please read it.
Could Rinpoche please explain to us the third kind of compassion that observes beings without intrinsic existence? If it is about beings as people without intrinsic existence, beings seem to disappear, and compassion too.
The third kind of compassion that observes being without. If it is about being as people without interesting clan, what's that? Rangshingi. Oh, okay. Rangshingi. And begins seem to disappear, Lana.
Beings seem to disappear, and compassion too.
Disappear, Lana, Kasagor. Map shadow. And the compassion too. The work toward digging if it is about being as a people without intrinsic existence.
Beings as in persons.
You want to translate that? Migwa message. Alele. Migwa mess. Okay. Now it makes sense. And the water and compassion to slang word.
Sentence make a chunk to the ganga. That's what make a ninja young.
So I think you are not like a Thor, not Thor, this, what is it? Thanos, in the Avengers, yes, some people will get this. Smart people will only get this. What's that called? Thanos. So he does this and everything disappears. It's not like that. It is not more like why when we say the third compassion is very important, and the second one is also very important because if you look at the how Chantakirti wrote this quotations. First he say, I think it Simjin Tsamla maybe. Just sentient being, looking towards sentient beings and then seeing the sufferings of them. This is the like the kind of a one expected one kind of a compassion. That mostly we do have that, but it's not strong. From just having this, we cannot become so serious, and this cannot lead us to like get in generate our compassion stronger. But what makes compassion stronger? Never forget His Holiness teaching that recently he gave. He said that when we talk about world peace, then to change the whole world, just put that intention aside. But first, ask yourself, are you compassionate or not? So what does that mean? Being compassionate and changing the world. We say, yeah, compassion is important, so on, so on. But first, whenever person try to, the compassion gives us kind of a platform to investigate into the problem. First, the compassion is brave, because the serious compassion, it's something like you wanted to investigate what is the real suffering. So that's brave. Most people, we are not brave to touch the suffering. We want to escape from there. So now here, when we talk about compassion, the three types of compassion, the second one and third one is trying to look into the cause of the suffering. So when you look at the cause of suffering, then you see how it is really affecting each and every sentient being's life, and including yourself. Your one is the raw example that you can, I don't know, copy paste. I don't know how to say that towards all the sentient beings. And there, we say the second and third compassions are very important. So how the Chantakirti wrote that, because he has this, he's a great poetry, that how he wrote is when the person looks at this still lake, still lake, and then there is a kind of a breeze. Breeze comes, and then you can see the what's that? Ripples. Ripple nana di marbe korgodi. Adi whirlpool che. The ripples, the waves. Oh yeah, ripples. Seeing this, so seeing the changes, because seeing still like this, it's like a glass, the permanent. When you see it's moving, then it's you accept that it's momentarily. So there you see this, then it is one kind of a brave to accept the reality. Normally, reality is for us is permanent. I cannot forgive. I don't want to hear this again. I don't want to see you again. I want you forever. All this thing. These are the beginning of our suffering. So what makes this so solid is the permanent. But we will never say this is a permanent. But deep inside, there is this hidden layers. So having this kind of feeling, automatically we are accepting the Chandakirtis, the second, the compassion, this seeing still lake, and then seeing this ripples in the lake, and seeing the momentarily changes, accepting this. Then thirdly, he said, and then the third compassion now here. In the text, it says something like things that momentarily changes, but we are holding this permanent. And then people hold this permanent, and then all other sufferings come after this. So I have a great compassion towards others, and I have a renunciation towards myself. This is how he said it. But then if you look at the root of wisdom by Nagarjuna, then it says, now if you look at the situation where it says, like if you have an enemy that you cannot feel like I cannot never forgive him, that solid enemy becomes so solid, not first you think like it's permanent. What makes this permanent? The true existence that you have this kind of projection is from the we have this intrinsic intrinsic nature. So it's there every time. Once you have this, every day we try to have a meditate on impermanence. For eons and eons we have that, but it will go grasping towards the permanent might go down and might feel like, oh, now I can see the true nature. But because we have built the beautiful practice on the thin layer of ice, because the place where have we built or grasp is on the true existence by its own. So then one day it will come again, and then the feeling of permanent and all related sufferings after that, it will arise once again. So that's why it says the third compassion is really necessary in order to you start appreciating the first two compassion. These first two, we have the understanding. Third will automatically the person has to question it. Because it's more like if you have got something beautiful in your hand, and then you will always think to protect it. Like you buy a new phone. Because you put so much effort in there, or it cost a lot. And now in order to protect that, then you have to buy a cover, protection glass, so on, everything. It's a kind of the human nature, isn't it? So similarly, if you really start appreciating the impermanence, then automatically we will think, this life, I have reduced this the grasping towards the permanent. So impermanence there. So due to that, the anchor is not there. Patience are there. Renunciations are there. But now, is that enough? To protect this, I wanted to learn more and then investigate more, deeper. So that's all the four schools talk differently about the emptiness. The kind person's question is short, but answer should be very long, because it's his fault. He asked a very good question, and I wanted to be very sure that my answer covers his question. Then related to this, we practitioners here talk many types of there's a kind of a menu of emptiness that what you should select. And I don't think this is kind of like a menu. Menu is like whether you can have this or that. But the emptiness is more regarding to the practitioners' not a choice, the practitioner's own benefit. Because whenever we say emptiness, then for most of us, we don't have any kind of fear. We don't. There's nothing existent by its own. Then people go like, okay, there's nothing on by its own. We take it like that, but it's not somehow it works like this. This is more like, oh, you want to sit on a chair? It's fine. Okay. So you can take one. Oh, you can sit here. You can sit here. Feeling better?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So if you look at how the chapters of the root of wisdom, all this debate how it comes, how this debate with the Nagarjuna and the other schools, the opposition will always say, they will accuse Nagarjuna, they're saying, the way you explain emptiness, then we cannot believe there's a karma. We cannot believe there's a Buddha. There's no Four Noble Truths. These are the way how they refute. But for us, our examples are like the Vas. Oh, there's no self-existence of the Vas. Then okay, then what's a Vas? Our question is like this, and we get this kind of answer, and then we become satisfied. Even there's so-called emptiness or no, doesn't not matter much in our life. But if you look at the clear water and Chandrakritis, and then all this Madhyamika Karsa Avatara, look at their questions are never like our question. Their feelings, how they ask question, is not the same feeling that we have. So it's regarding about are we buying the emptiness without affecting the dependent or origination or not? That's the kind of key point. Okay, so I will stop here, and I will say this is the question for you. Okay, I think this is from one Italian. Okay, thank you. And maybe anybody, you have a question? Okay.
I have a question.
You need to translate. You need to say that in brief, okay?
Regarding to the teachings of the last week, when we were talking about, part of the things of the eight verses of mind training and bodhicitta, and I was thinking there is always a paragraph there that I'm struggling with. Offer the victory to the abuser in a way, and I always feel like it's always a topic that I'm trying to chew. Because a lot of the time we feel like it's sort of like, you are in, for me anyway, I'm still in A, and I'm supposed to jump into Z, even though I'm not prepared for that. So I can pretend, I know that fake it until you make it also have some impact there. But I can pretend I'm offering the victory, but actually within myself, I have anger. And even if I try to suppress it so I can become, a good Buddhist or whatever, they're still there, and that can make me in a subtle way operate in a harmful way out of this suppressed anger, right? So I always wonder, I understand why we should train in this and try to aspire to become in a place that we can really do it genuinely and authentically. But until we do it, I think some of the times I feel like there is an expectations to do it anyway. And so that's one part. And the second part is when people are behaving in a non-nice or kind way, then they are creating very negative karma for themselves. Especially, people who do Bodhisattva vows and stuff like that. And then when you allow this behavior to, even if it's just, I decided I'm doing this, still they're creating negative karma. So then when I don't say anything or don't put boundaries as much as I can without anger, then also it allows them to continue their creation of their own negative karma, and myself making negative karma for myself because I don't really do something that is creating anger within myself, just to be able to say that I did this, So it's always a question that I'm sort of struggling with. Like, what is the right approach within this situation, and how can I really be authentic to what I'm doing and how I'm reacting? Because I think putting boundaries is a very important thing also to practice, and also how we do it, without the anger as much as we can.
You got it?
I think so. So in the 8 verses of mind training,
Can you, did you unmute? Huh?
there's a feedback. They're both unmuted.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So
yours
you
unmuted.
can use this one.
Can you hear me, Thea?
She can hear from you.
Okay. So in the 8 verses of mind training, there's a verse about offering the victory, and she's asking, how can you practice this without just pretending and being inauthentic if you still have anger and afflictions when you're trying to practice this? And also she had a question about whether or not to choose to interrupt when you have compassion about others, the negative actions. Is that kind of?
I guess putting boundaries and stuff like this. Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting boundaries.
Okay. So in the Bodhisattva practice, giving victory we need to understand carefully. Otherwise, we will always think automatically when you think giving a victory to others is more kind of like if you are elder brother and you have a younger brother and your mother says you have to give your candy to your younger brother because you have a responsibility to show more love to younger one, then that elder brother has to give this candy to the younger brother without any kind of a option. But in here, it's not like this. In here, it's the elder brother is doing it because he wants to do it. There's nobody, the second person or the third person telling to do this. So if it is from you feel like Buddha didn't ask me to do this, my guru didn't ask me to, I'm doing it for myself. Then it's mother giving lots of time to her newborn baby, lots of time, care. A good mother will never kind of complain. I give so much to you and you don't appreciate it. And you don't even say thank you to me. How dare you? They will never say. So now this action giving victory to others is we have to recognize where is the victory for myself. That's the most important part here. So if you could answer this carefully, and then each and every time you take a defeat upon yourself, then there is a kind of a pleasure. So this is a kind of a mindset, one kind of a mindset. So actually it's not a focus is not defeat. It is the victory. I'm giving this to you because I see victory in there. So it's kind of how we say that, because if somebody is taking advantage of you, saying, I know he's taking advantage of me. He's taking advantage of me. I'm letting him too. So there, when you say, if you're saying just from here, by just lip sync, then nothing feeling is here. So if you genuinely feel here, then accepting the karma is one example. We only want a positive karma. No, you don't want any negative karma with yourself. But whether you like it or not, the negative karma is with you. And then a practitioner's way of looking into this is, now if there's no pain, there's no gain. This is one mindset there, right? So if you don't have a solution to this problem, then better not to think about it. So that's why it relates to the question and the first answer, saying His Holiness, whatever he said about the compassion. Compassion is a kind of investigating into the suffering, and once get the answer, then there's a peace. That's called world peace. That's how His Holiness put it. So like this. So each and every time when we give the victory to others, if you see this is going into the practice, if you see this is really kind of helps you to become a stronger or a better practitioner, then you will appreciate it. It is difficult. Maybe let's think, is it only Bodhisattvas practice, or people like us also practice this too, or not? This is a question. I call it good business. In the previous class, I put Elon Musk in there. He put lots of money in the share. There is a risk. There's a risk, but he didn't put because there's a risk. Because he thought there's a benefit. The risk and the benefit is like 50-50 there, but his focus on is fixed with the benefit. So similarly, most of the biggest businessmen, practitioners, all of the people, the clever, the engineers, they take lots of risk. But they will never say, I'm not taking risk. Then it is very harmful for their business. Right? So like this, it is when we see some kind of the defeat. So the Bodhisattvas, they think this is a right time to become stronger. And automatically, it is answer to the self-cherishing. Then all this question's answer is answered. Most of us, we have this because we cannot relate much into whether this kind of defeat, it really helps me to look into my kind of self-cherishing, and then giving virtue to others is cherishing others. And cherishing others, the person becomes stronger to get the bodhicitta, and then bigger goal is there. So that defeat is just a small defeat. now it comes to what is your biggest goal? Does this practice gives you kind of a push to reach you to your bigger goal? That's kind of the question we have to ask. And then second one is
About putting boundaries.
the putting boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, I can also sort of like maybe add to that because, I mean, if you don't have compassion also for yourself, like those things, it's wounds that you have within yourself, right? And sometimes offering the victory to someone actually opens the wound that you have within yourself. I mean, there's always someone asking, right? And what about self-hatred or like, stuff like this, because it's something that comes more and modern and you didn't even understand what you're talking about. But for instance, if you had a childhood, it was abusive childhood. Right? And so for you to protect yourself, you have to put those boundaries.
That's true.
And then to play with this is something that actually you are not still healed.
Yeah.
And you have to do that, and that's actually wounds you even more because you feel you cannot even do it, and you are even more, a worse practitioner or what. So so that is a question that I really, try to think about, because also in order for you to have really compassion for others, you should also first have it within yourself.
That's true.
Because if you don't have real compassion for yourself, how can you really authentically
Yeah.
offer it to others? And some of the times also to put in boundaries on what your capability of really giving, to being very honest with yourself and looking at those things.
So these maybe people who on online, they are thinking this is a new question. This is not a new question. This is the second question. The putting boundary. Let's take out the boundary for the moment. Let's say compassion with wisdom. That's better. We should be compassionate. That doesn't mean we have to bring all the wounded dogs and animal in your own room, right? Then you can do it. It's your right. But how long are you going to do this? And the biggest thing is, for how long can you do this? This is the biggest question. So the wisdom is the kind of the compassion with, means the compassion, that wisdom has the influence of that compassion. That becomes with. So with the compassion, that not other people, not letting other people taking disadvantage, the advantage of you is necessary. So you can I say that is sort of like playing with the fire with kind of with a skillful ways, not to burn your compassion, protect your compassion, so no room for hatred. Seeing that person, hearing the name of that person, and then no jealousy there. But that at the moment, if staying with this person that you cannot benefit much, and that person is taking advantage of you, maybe you two have unfinished business from past lives, so you need to put kind of like a boundary, not by hatred. in order to protect your compassion. Most people, they don't do this. They put boundary because they feel through anger. It's not a protection towards your compassion. But for that, then you see some kind of improvement, or that person, your classmates or your colleagues or your brother or sisters or anybody whom you have some kind of a trouble with, and then you see some kind of that person, that sign of the hatred is there. Even you say, I don't hate that person, you say that. But when you see some kind of improvement in their life, then automatically you cannot bear to see this kind of thing. And this is so gross that you don't want to share with others. Say like, I feel uncomfortable because they're happy. And you will say, oh yeah, I rejoice there. So, but deep inside, see, it's very ugly, isn't it? So I request everyone, try to build this kind of boundary, not harming yourself. Don't think that you will harm others, or this boundary will make, this kind of boundary might take this kind of enemy away for you for a while, but this kind of the situation will come in another kind of a form, so-called with your another friend. Then how many kind of fences are you going to put? Then you will have a beautiful house with billions and billions of fences. Then that will make the house very ugly. Better to put a good sensor. And good alarm inside. Okay, so there's another question.
Clarifying the second one, and then maybe we can go to the third one.
Okay,
What is the relationship between karma?
there's another one before that.
Yeah, I was clarifying. what
Oh,
you
okay.
said about something.
Okay.
What is the relationship between karma, understood as the maturation of causes and conditions set by us, and the Dharmakaya? They appear to me to coincide in the reality that I perceive, and therefore I am inclined to say that nothing that happens is right or wrong in itself, but an indication of practice.
Kalasunda, what is the relation between the karma?
I understand.
The karma under the 추구다 래 준대다 추구니 부를 대화 여러분 추구 they appear to me to kasa coincide in the reality that I perceive, and therefore I plan to say that nothing that happens is right or wrong in itself, but an indication of practice. 지라고 주마송 또 디 단다 디두고 있으래 추구단 레그 버르려 개발치 이베줄 질람난 되게 다 I didn't get the question very clearly. The question looks very good. but there it looks like there is a question about difference between the karma and dharmakaya. Kaya ba? Dharmakaya. Okay. What are the differences? Dharmakaya and the karma. So for like we can say 2 or 3 types of the karma. And give the positive and the negative karma. Ani that tiniga mayimbe chige parma. Parma is neutral. Neutral. What is the difference between neutral and neutral?
Neutral.
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 Is it neutral?
Neutral.
Okay, that's better. I almost said neutral. Okay. Our mind never gets rest. Mind needs to continue because of karma. That's why continuous of consciousness because of the karma. Whenever we think about the karma, then we should, I think more like put it more like something about samsara, not beyond that. So in order to get out from the suffering, then we need to get out from all sort of karma, even it's a positive karma. Then we will say, then how to, if we stop positive karma, and then how to get a fully enlightenment? Then there we talk about the merit, the sonam gutso da yishi gutso, accumulation of merit and karsa wisdom, accumulation of wisdom. So these two, the accumulation of merit, and normally what we talk about positive merit, that positive karma depends on the merit. Big difference is there. Yes. So that unless we don't get on the path, then like a part of accumulation. That's why we say part of accumulation is needed on that kind of level. So normal, whatever we accumulate merit is not counting. So on the path, when we talk about a path of accumulation, then this becomes the to get the dharmakaya, and then dharmakaya, more we are focused to get the karsa sugula then Dharmakaya is complement. Complement. It looks like a food. Sounds like it comes together. It's kind of a union. So please think carefully, because when we wanted to get out of the suffering, then first we need to come to realize and kind of have a faith and a belief in the karma. And then once you feel like so-called there is a karma, then I'm done. So we have to say karma is something, right? So that's the order it goes, something like that. So, and in order to overcome this or abandon the karma, it's not possible. Up to now, for almost an hour, we talked. Between there's mind movements and then how I talk, all I have accumulated more than 100,000 karmas already. So there's no way to purify each and every karma. That's why Buddha said, now in order to stop the karma, is not to stop the karma directly. So now what it helps to ripen the karma, that we can stop it. That's the attachment. So those attachment, how it comes, then it is coming from the self-grasping. So if we can, we become a person with so much affection, but no attachment, and can enjoy the momo, but without attachment. And then I wanted to become like this forever. And how to do this is now we have to get rid of the self-grasping. So once we have selflessness, and then how strongly it grows up, then self-grasping will go down as the winter and the summer. So all this has to the karma, and then how to get to Dharmakaya. So this is one kind of a path, how we have to look. So let's please feel like this is your answer. Okay. Maybe one from here. If the time is up, maybe. Oh, there's one more. Okay.
I'm wondering, Buddha has always mentioned that everybody wants to be happy and not want to suffer. So I wonder, who is it who wants to be happy, and with the mere eye also want to be happy or not?
Can you repeat it once again?
Actually, yeah, essentially, with the mere eye
Mere eye.
also want to be happy or not?
Mere eye. Yes. Of course.
Like somebody who has realized emptiness.
Oh, yes.
They also want to be happy.
Happiness. Yes. Of course. Yeah. Please go ahead.
She's asking, so His Holiness mentions that everyone wants to be happy and not to suffer. So she's asking exactly what is it that wants that happiness? Is it the mere eye?
Can you open the door, please? She wants to come in. Okay. Yeah. Um, so what is the mere I? That's we need to ask ourselves. What is that mere I? And when it is it same as the what is that? Truly existence. It's one side. Is it same as truly exists by its from its own I? Is it same like that I? That mere I is similar like this or not? We need to ask ourselves. That's quite a big confusion. Many practitioners. It is also sometimes it confuses me. So what is that mere I? And have we ever felt it? Have we ever realized it? Have we ever come to use that for a one moment? So that's a big thing. So Lama Tsongkhapa said, yes, we felt that. We have this feeling time to time. So, and what is that difference between that mere I that Buddha has feeling and we have this mere I? What are the differences? And not only the on I, but all the phenomena, the merely table, the merely dog. So everything. So keep this in your mind, because Lama Tsongkhapa said something like, we are not 24/7 having self-grasping. This is in the part of in the text of the commentary of Madhyamika Avatara by Lama Tsongkhapa. The Kongpa, how do you translate it?
Illumination of the thought.
Illumination of the thought. In that text, it's there where he talks about three kinds of compassion. He said there is a time when we look at a kind of vase which is not I don't know how to say it in qualified how do you say that, qualified with by emptiness, by true existence, or the qualified by permanent, impermanent. Not these two, but merely we have just seen a vase like that. That's what he said. As I am a Gelupa Lama, and with respect to Lama Tsongkhapa, I have this question always. How could this come? This kind of mere I that we have felt? Because I love this question from my teacher, always saying, for an example, if you look into the mirror and then you are the person who always feel this the appearance in the mirror, the reflection, the reflection is 100% me. That if you feel like this, then there is unless you don't see the emptiness of the true existence of I in that kind of a mirror, without seeing any emptiness of that, how can we see one day that in the you seeing your face in your mirror thing, that face is that the reflection is not me. Did you get the idea? So in order to see the not to see the mere I, first we have to believe there is a day that our mind is not diluted. So how do you differentiate between these two? This brings quite a big kind of a question to Lama Tsongkhapa. But there's so many answers there, but sometimes Lama Tsongkhapa's way of this explanation becomes my hope. But sometimes it becomes a kind of bring lots of questions. So this is a kind of blessing. So you also think like this. So I'm not accepting Lama Tsongkhapa's word because I'm a Gelupa. I'm trying to bring this in. I try to bring Lama Tsongkhapa's word into the court, where there is a Buddha himself, and there's a Nagarjuna, and then there's a Lama Tsongkhapa. So I put these three together. Well, sometimes I feel I will not get answer directly like this, but somehow it is such a great blessing to think in this kind of the path that is they are showing. So anyway, that's your question, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for the question. And you also think like that. It's helpful. Some kind of practices we don't need to answer instantly. It is our kind of a human nature that we need to know very quickly. But we don't. To earn the answer, to earn it, it is the beauty. Not to get the answer. Yes, of course, receiving the answer directly is a good. This is what we need. But going into this kind of process to get the answer, or enjoying each and every moment going on that path, enjoyment, it is one kind of the mind of curiosity, and then each and every time bringing that into practice. So this is also such a great blessing. It's more like you order something on Amazon, and the biggest enjoyment is receiving the package. Before receiving the package, unboxing thing is the most pleasant feeling. And once you get the answer, then you say, yeah, okay, I got it. That's it. Okay, this is it. So like this, when we study, putting together into your practice, This is the biggest enjoyment. But just don't stay there like, oh, I'm enjoying, but not knowing where it is going. And then it is a waste of time. So this is I think this is for today. Okay. Right on time. 4 minutes late. Just kidding. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. And do the please dedication by your own. And thank you, everybody. Okay. Oh, they need to. Translating finished? Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Good night, good morning.